Coaches. Blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, they can't hold a flame against you, ay. Blow the whistle, blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, got the game, it ain't no issue, yeah. Blowing the whistle, I had enough with you, the championship, it is gone. Ain't listen to you, I can't give it to you, cause you don't know what I've been on. This is the Coaches Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Fantasy Coaches. I am your host, as always, Coach Steve. We have another fun episode for you guys today. We are talking winning the early rounds of your 2023 redraft season-long leagues. And, of course, we don't have a big crew today, but it's an original duo from a long time ago. Coach Jibbs, what's going on, brother?
What up, fam, man? It's kind of feeling like a little golf outing between us, just talking shop, one-on-one, mano-a-mano. So, kind of glad that we're going to have like a classic episode. No John, no guest. So, let's let it ride, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, OG, if you guys don't know, we started off with just me and Coach Jibbs way back in the day in 2019, I think it was. And then we added Coach John at some point. He can't make it tonight. And then we did not have a guest for today's show anyway, so it was just going to be the two of us for today, guys. So today's episode, guys, we have news to talk about. We're not going to play any games this week, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the first 5 rounds in terms of ADP for your redraft leagues, basically looking at where they fall in ADP, some good values, some players that you could take ahead of other players if you think. We're going to give you guys the best advice for these early rounds. So before we get to that, of course, we're going to talk about some news here. And we're starting off the top here. Marlon Mack, he had just signed with the Arizona Cardinals and torn his Achilles once again. Again, it wasn't going to be a major thing, but definitely hurts for Marlon Mack overall. Kendre Miller, the rookie running back from the Saints, has a knee sprain. They're really optimistic that he'll be ready for week 1. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But he definitely was somebody that was interesting with Alvin Kamara out the first 3 games. And, of course, some preseason talk here. And I don't know how much you watch the preseason, Jibbs. I don't know how much the preseason do you watch ever. I don't know how do you do that?
For me, it's kind of like the first games are kind of a wash. I'll start getting into it probably like weeks 2 or 3. Honestly, I woke up this morning and I just thought the NFL had 2 weeks of preseason.
Kind of, technically, I guess.
Yeah, so that's 3 weeks. So I'll probably start getting engaged this week upcoming. But I saw the Thursday night games and I saw the Eagles game basically. So I didn't really get around the NFL, but I did see some highlights. The run was fantastic. Yeah,
you don't take too much of a thread with this. We take a little notice, especially certain things like that. I know Pro Football Focus, they have an article that comes out and it breaks down the starting snaps and things like that, it's kind of interesting. I know not all your starters are playing for skilled positions, but you notice players who haven't played, which is pretty interesting. And then you also notice players who played. And the first one we're going to quickly mention here, we're going to go breeze through this here. Khalil Herbert, a guy who I think people aren't really that high on because of the whole situation there in Chicago and that 3-headed committee and how all that's working. But he did take all the starter snaps. No one else did. The guy that they love is Roschon Johnson, 4th on the depth chart in terms of when he came on the field to take snaps. Does that do anything for you, Jibbs? That eye open up a little bit for Khalil Herbert?
Yeah, definitely. He's a little bit warm. He's warming up on me now. I kind of just didn't want to get into with the Bears backfield just due to the rookie and obviously Justin Fields is just kind of the kingpin of the whole situation. But him having a good showing in preseason definitely puts him more favorably for me to draft him. I believe what's he going 9? Round 9?
Round 9, round 10, something like that.
So it is what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's something that we need to monitor a little bit more because he could end up being a steal if you're doing drafts now. It's only week 1 of preseason. We'll see what happens in week 2, but it's definitely a good thing. And he had that 75-yard, it was a 35-yard touchdown catch and run, which was pretty nice. So that was pretty interesting. Next up here, Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk obviously has been a pretty good wide receiver overall, but he was playing 3rd in snaps among the starters who played in starting role last week. And he really he didn't really play outside of 3 wide receiver sets. When it went down to 2, he was off the field at that point. So I don't know if that's something that is just a concern. I don't know if it's a concern to you or not, that, he might not be on the field as much as we like maybe as he was last year.
I don't think it's much of a concern for me. I kind of figured that what happened with Calvin Ridley is coming into the offense. He still have a bunch of wide receivers. So I think Christian Kirk's snap share is nothing to be to take into consideration in the preseason. Obviously, the Jaguars are going to be trying to establish themselves, and I can see them being more pass friendly than other teams in the NFL. So I think Christian Kirk still will get his run.
Yeah, no, again, I'm not overly concerned either. It's just something to mention there. It really depends if they really do two tight end sets more often. Doug Peterson has a history of doing multi-tight end sets there, so that would be interesting if they go that approach. So just keep that in mind that with Christian Kirk, that he might not be on the field at points. The next one here is one of your boys here. Kenny Gainwell did not play in the first preseason game. There's rumbling about him being very involved in this running back core that we already thought it'd be a DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny show until they got hurt. What do you take of that?
Well, I've been beating this since the beginning of the offseason. It's like, I'm not going to get either of those two guys. I'm just going to get Gainwell in the end of the drafts. For what I'm hearing is it's kind of mixed because you're hearing such good reviews with DeAndre Swift, but I think Kenny Gainwell is probably going to be established as cemented as the third down back, if anything, in this offense next year. So that's why.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm very interested in Kenny Gainwell now. I know, he probably didn't play because he does know this offense very well, and it bodes well to see Swift and Penny getting their feet in with the offense to some extent to see what they have. I don't know if Rashad Penny even played, honestly. I think it was mostly Swift. Oh, he did play. Okay. So I'm not overly bearing on it, but if he's sitting there in the late rounds, he's definitely a more attractive option for you that I feel like people weren't talking enough about. The Steelers offense, I mean, they had a pretty good outing. Their starters had a pretty good day overall. I was mildly impressed with the Steelers offense there. And of course, I don't know where my sheet is for this. Pittsburgh, here we go. But a couple things. Jaylen Warren played more starter snaps than Najee Harris. Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington split snaps in terms of the starting tight ends. And Allen Robinson played more snaps than George Pickens. To me, I don't know. How do you feel about what I just said, Jibs?
I feel like my stomach is hurting. I want to throw up with all that stuff. It seems like they're kind of just consolidating the offense. Everyone can play with everyone. So hopefully it kind of resolves itself in the upcoming weeks. But if they're all splitting like that, it's not really good, especially for Harris, 3rd round prospects, and obviously Pickens 7th, 8th round prospects. So I'm just gonna stick with Deontay Johnson this year.
Yeah, no, it was, again, it's preseason, but it's definitely interesting to see Jaylen Warren seeing a few more snaps with the starters. Again, I still think this is Harris's backfield to own. It has scared me about Washington. Now, I haven't heard too much about him in camp. He really hasn't been flashing or anything, but him being on the field and running situations more often, or even if they did, play action, it definitely is a concern that he sees the field a little bit more than Pat Freiermuth on that note because of his rushing or blocking ability. And then, again, I've heard good things about Allen Robinson at camp. Again, he's only 30-year-old wide receiver still, so I mean, he still could be considered a comeback kind of guy. But just note that there's going to be a lot of mouths to feed in this offense, a lot of people getting on the field. So if it was a really great quarterback, man, this would be an offense we'd want to buy into. But Kenny Pickett, he played pretty decent on this past week, so got to give him that. All right. Yeah. Kenny Pickett for the win. Jameson Williams. Now, this is interesting. You haven't really been hearing great things about Jameson Williams at camp so far. A lot of drops, things like that, just not really has his head in the game. But 2 for 6 on the day, if I'm not mistaken here. And then 2 for 7 targets for 18 yards. Does Jameson Williams start becoming a concern for you? To want to even consider drafting him in fantasy, even with his 6-game suspension?
I don't even think I'm on with the 6-game suspension. I mean, without the 6-game suspension. I have to see it more. He had those. I think he had one good game last year. or something.
He had one catch last year. So
Yeah,
yes, one game.
Yeah. Like, I definitely have to see it before I believe it. But like, obviously, it's a good situation to buy into at a discounted price. Although you have to wait half the season, but I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. Like, it's just been like a tough road for him in the NFL. Like, I know like a lot of people have like just like stuff in front of them, but like he's just putting stuff in front of him that's like terrible.
Yeah, no, like I said, he's a tremendous talent coming out of college, but it just really hasn't clicked with Jameson Williams. Again, I'm slowly getting concerned, but I'm not there just yet. I still want to see him get on the field and play in a regular season game for half a year at least and see how that goes. But, taking a shot on him in around 8 or 9, I've seen people do that. I might be less likely to do that now and wait until if he falls to the double digits, I'll consider him at somewhere on that point. But and then finally, one of my boys, Devon Achane, did not play until Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson didn't play; they were out, and then he didn't play until after Myles Gaskins and Savon Ahmed played on the game on this past Friday. I think they played Friday night. Yes. Does that concern you at all, Devon Achane?
I got to pay his dues, man. This guy's been in the NFL more, even though they did spend capital on him. But I can see that angle, but it doesn't like concern me. The guy's fast. They'll find a way for him on the field.
Yes, you're absolutely right. No concerns whatsoever. And a lot of these rookie running backs got to play late in the first game. They didn't really start early on. There was only 2 rookies. I think Kendre Miller and Tank Bigsby actually had a snap with the starters, you could say. But I wouldn't be overly concerned about Devon Achane playing 5th in the rotation. He's been lighting up all camp. He will eventually move up on the boards here. It's just to show him being on the field and earning his reps. So no concerns with that. But those are some players I just wanted to highlight, some players that kind of stuck out like, interesting kind of situations there with them. So finally, the last part of our news, and then we can move on finally, is just happened an hour ago. Zeke Elliott signed a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million with the New England Patriots, John's team. And how do you feel about Zeke signing with New England? Is Zeke become an option for you in fantasy? And we'll talk about Ramondre Stevenson later, but with Zeke Elliott, does this make him a valuable option in fantasy now?
I think he can be like round consideration. I don't think like he's just gonna overcome Ramondre Stevenson and it's gonna be like a 50-50 split. I think he's gonna be used in certain situations. Obviously it'd be short yardage, goal line stuff, which obviously hurts Stevenson's ceiling. But the guy's 30 years old, like he hasn't had a job for like literally 6 months. Like I don't think I want to put too much thought into it. Like sure he could be a viable handcuff or something like that, but I don't see anything more than that.
Yeah, he's only 28, man. He's not 30 yet.
I don't care. He's 30. He's been grinding it out. He probably has a body of a 34-year-old, to be honest with you.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, you bring in a guy like Zeke Elliott because they wanted somebody to go in between the tackles like what Damian Harris did last year. Zeke does that. They wanted somebody who's really good at pass protection. Zeke's really good pass protector. So, yeah, it's going to hurt Stevenson. And, again, we'll talk about Stevenson in a few here. But for Zeke Elliott, you're hoping touchdowns, and you're hoping that he sees a few targets maybe here and there, but you're hoping for the touchdowns. I think that's the big thing. If they can get to the inside the 5, you bring in Zeke Elliott and let him pound the ball up the middle of the field here. That's what you're hoping for. I don't think he has standalone value week in and week out. But if something would have happened to Stevenson, and at times last year he looked a little banged up, Zeke Elliott would obviously jump in for us in fantasy. I think he's a pretty good handcuff that he might get you once in a while. Some flex appeal weeks for him in fantasy, but again, not enough standalone value. Again, good signing for the Patriots. Obviously, he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to help Ramondre Stevenson as a veteran. And just have that veteran presence in the offense here. So good for Zeke to find a team that, again, I don't think he was ever going to see a full-time row again, but this is a pretty good situation where he could steal touchdowns for your team in fantasy right now. So,
do you see it moving up like a couple of rounds before?
I mean, I mean, I would hope so. I don't even offhand. I don't know where he goes in.
147.
140. I mean, 147 is not super late. Yeah, I mean, what is that? That's not even. That's at what, round 12, round 13.
Yeah.
I mean, he could probably maybe push up to round 10 or 11. I don't think I'd take him any higher than that personally. I think he's like a handcuff to grab in case Stevenson gets hurt. Again, I don't see the standalone value in his play there. So, but yeah, that's it. Zeke Elliott signed. He's one less person. We're still waiting on Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, and Kareem Hunt. Maybe in the next couple of weeks we will find out more. So, all right. And now we get into our main topic of the day, something I was really looking forward to doing, obviously, because I feel like these shows here talking about ADP and getting really into each round really can help you out with your fantasy team, really knowing where people are going, where the value is in each round that you could take advantage of for your fantasy leagues. We've briefly mentioned things like this over the last month or so now, but now it's really to get deep involved in this. And since there's only two of us, we will have plenty of time to get deep involved into these fantasy rounds here. So let's start here at the top. We have round one, and this is ADP over on Fantasy Pros. They do a really good job breaking down ADPs with different websites and things like that with ESPN, Yahoo, Sleeper. It all kind of comes together into one ADP average draft position here. So in round one, there are no quarterbacks obviously going in round one, and this is obviously a one QB league ADP. And in terms of tight ends, you have Travis Kelce going at the ADP 5. You have running backs like CMC, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Nick Chubb going in round one for running backs. Wide receivers, you obviously have the top guys in Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. You have Tyreek Hill. You have Stephon Diggs, and you got CeeDee Lamb here. So, Jibs, I'm going to start with you here. Is there someone here that you don't like at their ADP if they're going in these positions here?
The only person I have issue with, and it's like not that it doesn't have to do with him. It's Cooper Kupp, like ADP 6. Like sure, like when he's all right, he's scoring 25 points with Stafford and company. But it's just like Stafford's health for me is a big concern. Like if he doesn't make it through the whole season, I just don't want it to be another fiasco like last year. But if other than that, like I probably have like Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp flipped, but like I have no problem with anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much on the same page with you. I think Cooper Kupp is definitely at ADP 6. You're hoping that he's healthy week one. If he's not healthy already, that's a major concern. Like you mentioned about Matthew Stafford, his health and his availability. Yes, he has the big upside, and you like and he got the floor play and everything like that. But the risk of him maybe missing time due to injuries, he's 30 years old himself. He's not a young sprout. At your 6th spot is concerning. Like if he was at 11, like I'd far like that value better than anything else there for sure. Is there anyone here whose ADP you think could be higher than what you're seeing here currently?
Is this half PPR?
This is all half point PPR.
Okay.
Yes, all half point PPR.
All right. Higher. It's definitely going to be, I would say Bijan and Chubb, both of them, perhaps.
Higher.
I'm definitely interested. You don't get the penalty for Chubb being, with the receptions being at half value, and then like I understand, so enthusiastic about Bijan Robinson, young running back who has all the opportunity in the world with the run first team. So I love those two.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great one right there, because I mean the way I see it, and we're getting to round 2, and about the wide receivers in round 2 in a few minutes here, but getting elite running backs in right now, they're going at pick 9 and pick 10. If you want to go and reach for them at 6, 7, I don't think it's a bad thing anymore, because you're getting elite production from both these guys. You expect both these guys to see over 280 carries more than likely in their offense here, and probably hopefully close to 50 targets plus in an offense that gives them potential opportunity for double-digit touchdowns. And both of them are, again, Chubb has the backfield more to himself. We would assume that Bijan has it too, but I think that Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson could surprise us slightly. But with Cooper Kupp and his situation, Tyreek Hill, if Tua doesn't play a portion of a season because of his injury concerns. You know, they're elite upside plays, but there could be concerns in their production if either of those two guys get hurt or their quarterback misses time. Robinson and Chubb, they're elite options overall that should be pretty good for the whole season here. Again, round one's pretty easy. There's nothing really here that goes nuts, but we're going to do a quick mock draft. We're going to do every round. We're doing the first 5 rounds today. We're going to do a mock draft of the first 5 rounds. We're starting with round 1. We're just going to do round 1. Jibs, we're going to go back and forth. I'll let you go first. Who do you got? Justin Jefferson, 101. That makes perfect sense. I'm probably going to go take Jamar Chase at ADP pick 2 in my eyes, even though he's 3.
Then I'll follow up with Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey, all right. Christian McCaffrey, his normal ADP is pick 2. See, this is where things get interesting slightly, but I think I still will take Austin Eckler. I still believe he has this backfield to himself. So I'm going to take him at the 4 spot.
And at number 5, I'm going to take. I'll take the team, Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley. Okay. I don't hate it. His ADP is sitting at 8, but pick him at 5. I like it. At that point, pick 6, I'm going to take Travis Kelce, no doubt. It just makes a ton of sense for me to take Travis Kelce at the 1-6 there. Just an elite upside over every other tight end in that whole class this year.
I'll take Hill at 7.
All right, Tyreek Hill at 7. I like that. Pick 8, I'm probably going to go Nick Chubb over Bijan Robinson and Cooper Kupp. I just love Nick Chubb so much this year. And the fact that I think he's going to see an uptake in targets is just fascinating for his fantasy value. So I'll pick him at the 1-7 right now. Oh, 1-8. I'm sorry, 1-8.
1-8. All right.
So you have 4 players left.
4 players. Well, I'll stick to my value. I won't take
Bijan Robinson. All right, I like it. Pick 9 for Bijan Robinson. Pick 10. At that point, I will just take Cooper Kupp at that point. I'm not going to let him slide past his ADP 6 to picking him at 10. I think it's a better value at that point to take Cooper Kupp. And then you have 1 pick left, Jibs.
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs. And, of course, I will obviously take CeeDee Lamb, which is a great pick at the 112 overall. So that wraps up the round 1. Again, round 1's pretty hard to miss. Unless one of these guys get hurt, any place you're picking at, you should be pretty happy with whoever you get out of these guys. Now, there could be other guys that jump into round 1, obviously, but this is what ADP is saying right now. A week ago, it was Jonathan Taylor at the 112, but obviously it's not that now, and CeeDee Lamb has now jumped into that 112 spot overall. So, all right, over to round 2 of ADP right now. Round 2 has the quarterbacks. You have Pat Mahomes, you have Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, all falling in round 2 of ADP, which makes absolute mind-blowing no sense, but that's just how things work. In terms of tight ends, there's no tight ends that go in round 2 in terms of ADP. For running backs, you have Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, all going in round 2 of ADP. And then, of course, you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Amon St. Brown, and Jalen Waddle all going in round 2 in terms of wide receivers. Now, Jibs, I'm going to ask you here. We'll start off with the negative again. Is there someone's value you don't like here? I think the quarterbacks are a pretty obvious choice that we don't want quarterbacks in round 2. I don't think you're considering taking any of these quarterbacks in round 2, right?
No, not at all.
No. Normal leagues, I don't know what leagues are doing this, but do not take a QBs in round 2, no matter how great these guys are. Round 3, round 4 makes more sense for both of them. But in terms of running backs, Jibs, wide receivers, what about their ADPs? There's someone that you don't like in terms of those positions.
For those positions in particular, I don't know. Like this wouldn't go for season long, but like Jonathan Taylor's kind of scaring me though. Like the whole situation does not.
He is back at camp now. He is back at camp.
But like who knows? Like this man could do like a silent quit later on in the season, But he is going to be the team. Hopefully he gets back soon. That'll be my answer for now, Jonathan Taylor. But more in particular, it'll probably be Derrick Henry, this with the miles and all that stuff. Even though you're getting them at a supreme discount of those since the last 2 years, but I don't know.
I respect it. Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's a pretty easy one to say. Obviously, at pick 15, I'm not as comfortable taking him. He's already banged up on the offense here. He could possibly lose touchdowns to Anthony Richardson on the ground, especially they get close to the red zone. So Jonathan Taylor at pick 15, he's slid down in at least 3 spots over the last week here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he falls to the late second round. I still don't know if I want to take Josh Jacobs in round 2. I know the talent has round 1 potential, but again, we're still not getting Josh Jacobs at camp. It's already halfway through camp at this point. I mean, there's only 3 weeks until the season starts almost. So I'm still not thrilled about taking him in round 2. Davante Adams, I still have concerns about Jimmy G's ability to get Davante Adams the ball downfield. They'd really have to change this offense that Davante Adams is being a bit even bigger yards after catch wide receiver than he already is. They just don't trust Jimmy G's ability to get the ball downfield as often. That is someone I'm slightly concerned about overall. Is there anybody here that you'd like to see jump up? Is there anyone you would take sooner than what you're looking at in terms of ADP, Jibs?
Obviously, no. I'll take Tony Pollard. I'll definitely consider him higher than 18, which is just based on the caliber of the offense he plays in, plus like what he's done, and he's pretty much going to be the only guy there. But I just think he's going to be efficient this year, and you guys have sold me on him as the months have gone by. So Tony Pollard, 18 when you were getting him. I think probably at the beginning of the season he was probably closer to 13, 14, I would imagine. So you're getting a slight discount.
Yeah, no, I like that one. And obviously, it's a great news that Zeke signed with a different team, because that was always the fear that he would come back before the season starts. But obviously, it's now Tony Pollard's show. I mean, Amon St. Brown at ADP pick 19 right now. I would take him sooner. Honestly, he's going in the middle of the round. Like, I wouldn't mind taking him at pick 2 or pick 3 in the comeback around on that pick. Yeah, like pick 14, 15. Like, I would absolutely take him there. He's in for a monster season, a guy who's going to eat up targets in terms of PPR leagues. He's going to have opportunity. No Jameson Williams. I'm really don't understand why he's going so low in ADP overall right now, but I would definitely take him sooner if I could in those situations there. I mean, I like Derrick Henry. I wouldn't mind taking him a few spots earlier, but it's ADP 17 is pretty solid for him overall. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty solid group in round 2 here. You have great wide receivers, good running backs. This is kind of why I like Nick Chubb and Bijan Robinson to go ahead of the other wide receivers in round 1, because you can get an A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, St. Brown. You can get some of these guys in round 2 that gives you the upside for an wide receiver 1 still, but also get an RB1 too that you can feel more comfortable with than some of these guys in round 2. Let's do our mock draft now for round 2, Jibs. Who do you got? I'll let you go first. Who do you got at pick 13?
13. I'm going to take A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown. All right. That's a pretty obvious pick there. He was going at ABT 13 already. I like it there. I'm probably going to take Amon St. Brown at pick 14. Like I said, I like to jump him up and get him, because I feel like the opportunity for 130-plus receptions is possible for him this season. So I'm going to take him at pick 14 here. Jibs?
All right. Then slot me in for Tony Pollard at the 15th pick.
15th pick. All right. I like it. 15th pick there. 16th pick. I'm just going to take Derrick Henry. Again, the king. He's going to eat up the yardage as long as he can stay healthy on the field. I feel comfortable about his position in this league, and I'll take him one spot higher than ADP. So, and then Jibs, pick 17.
I'll still take the old elder statesman Davante Adams.
Davante Adams, of course. And it's an old reliable. The age is
reliable. Yeah, but like I know Aaron Rodgers had to leave town and join a new team, while Davante Adams had an all-pro season pretty much.
That is true. So maybe it was Davante Adams making Aaron Rodgers look really good. So all right, I like it there. So I pick 18 now. I got pick 18. I'm probably just going to go take Garrett Wilson at this point. Aaron Rodgers' new weapon there. Again, what he was able to do with terrible quarterback play, and now has a very accurate quarterback at least. And Aaron Rodgers, he makes a great sense here at pick 18. And now, Jez, your pick 19. What do we got? Yeah, 1 wide receiver, 2 running backs, and of course, three quarterbacks.
I'm taking Pat Mahomes off the list, but like if we're doing
of course,
needs, I'll probably take Taylor here.
All right. So you're gonna stick with Mahomes on this one, though?
Yes.
All right, yes, of course. So we're only stuck with the players we have here. Obviously, Mahomes makes sense there. Don't hate it. At this point, I will then take my shot on Jonathan Taylor. At this point, I already said, I said that there's issues with him, but he is an all-pro running back. Hopefully, he can be good and healthy by week 1. So I'll take him here at pick 20 at that point. So there's 4 players left, Jibs.
4 players left. Slot me in for Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. All right. Josh Allen it is. That's a good pick, obviously. I think at this point, I will just take Jalen Hurts. Again, I don't like taking quarterbacks early, and that's not the whole point. But based on what we got here in this round, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts here, and his ability on the rushing game is elite, and he's just been continuing to grow as a passer overall. So I'll pick him at the 22 pick, which is where his ADP is falling. So that's where we'll go. And then, Jibs, you got 2 players left. Where are we going here?
We're going to go Waddle.
Jalen Waddle, the 23rd pick.
To camp.
Yes, and I will take Josh Jacobs, obviously, with the last pick of the round 2 at pick 24. 1 pick after where he is normally going. I mean, what's there left to say? He's a talented back, but he's not at camp. So there's not much to say there. So, all right, pick round 3 now. We have categories every which way now. Quarterback, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow are going in round 3. Mark Andrews going here in round 3. Then you have Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs as running backs. And you have a really good group of wide receivers with Devonta Smith, Chris Olave, T. Higgins, and DK Metcalf. So tell me, Gibbs, whose value do you not like here in round 3?
Is it safe to assume Ramondre Stevenson? But probably I would, on a real serious note, like I'm still on the Breece Hall camp that someone's coming, and I'm still not sure of the ACL recovery. So even though they say everything's fine, I'm just not going to be a fan and think he's going to be back to putting up close to high-end RB1 numbers or low-end RB2 numbers. So Breece Hall for me, ADP 31. I still want to see that thing fall a little bit.
Right. No, absolutely. And again, it starts up at pick 25, so he's going in the middle of round 3 currently. That's a good one. I do think now Stevenson going in the early round 3. For me, I think he gets pushed back to late round 3 with Zeke Elliott signing because that is a veteran presence that is likely going to steal work from him, especially around the touchdowns. That's where Stevenson made his game last year, receptions and touchdowns last year. And if Zeke Elliott takes that away, at least one of his elements away, I don't see the upside in taking him in early round 3 now. Late round 3 makes more sense for me. Obviously, the quarterbacks, I would rather take the other 3 if they were there in round 3, but obviously that's not how this works. Travis Etienne still kind of concerns me slightly. I really don't believe they're going to give him a giant workload. I think Tank Bigsby will get involved. I know it didn't seem that way in preseason, but again, it was just the first game. I'm not that concerned, and I think this is going to be a pass-happy team in the Jacksonville area. So is there any players you'd bump up on this list if you could, Jibs?
Oh, man. If John was here, I'll say Chris Olave. Bump up.
Okay, Chris Olave.
Yeah, it's pretty much Chris Olave. I just feel like Mark Andrews is pretty much priced right, 27. I feel like he's an early round 3 pick. I'll probably take a shot on T. Higgins. Higher than 32, though, if that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
High octane offense. I know Joe Burrow is a little banged up, and there's various reporting that maybe it's 1 week, maybe it's preseason, maybe it's the first game, but we know what he can do. Like the guy for like the first I think like two years, like he was pretty much like putting up on par numbers. This is like Jamar Chase, like decaf, not caffeinated. Right. So like he has the best potential as a wide receiver too, like the next wide receiver too.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. Olave for me is obviously one that sticks out. Like I would be taking Olave at the end of round 2. based on taking those quarterbacks out of the second round there. I think Olave has a big season ahead of him here. Again, Mark Andrews, I still love Mark Andrews here. I would bump him up a couple spots still. I think you can make an argument for him to go in the late round 2 area because of his ability, and now there's more weapons, so he's not constantly double covered on the offense there. Jahmyr Gibbs is starting to grow on me a little bit here. From what I saw so far preseason, I liked it. I think if he gets more work on the passing game, he could be interesting for us in 8.5 point PPR leagues. So I'm intrigued with his ability at the end of round 3 overall. So I do like him to maybe move up a few spots. I think he will move up a few spots by the time people really start getting into draft season. So, all right, Jibs. Now we're at a mock draft here. And you know what? I'm going to go first on this mock draft here.
Please.
I'm going to go first on you, so you don't have to go first. Chris Olave. I'm going to take Chris Olave with my first pick in round 3 here. 4 picks earlier than he does go. So
I'm going to take the Andrews, Mark Andrews, get that positional advantage, the second best positional advantage.
I like it. I like it. So pick 26, that was that. Probably going to just take – I'm going to take Devonta Smith. I really am liking Jalen Hurts and his ability to grow as a passer here. Devonta Smith, I think he is very underrated because of A.J. Brown being there. And I think he can be just as good as a wide receiver. So I will take him with my 27th pick in the 3rd round.
Okay. I feel you. And with my next pick, I'm going to actually take I'm going to go with T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, all right. It's a good pick there. So pick 28, I think, at that point. I'm losing track of the numbers here because they're high numbers now. But pick 28, pick 29, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Najee Harris. I still believe that he has this backfield to himself, minus Jalen Warren stealing some carries here and there. I still think he's going to have the workhorse role that you can grab in round 3. So pick 29, I like him there.
For this exercise, I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson.
All right, Lamar Jackson at pick 30. I don't hate it. At all. I think he has an upside to him. I like it. Let's see, pick 31. I think that now I will end up going and taking Ramondre Stevenson here, pick 31 here. I said mid to late. I think he's still a really talented running back here. I still think he should have a majority of the targets and carries in this offense here. Again, it just doesn't have that same upside picking him in early round 3 than in the middle to late round 3 here now. So he's pick 31.
Following that, I'll take Travis Etienne. No concerns over the Tank Bigsby role in the offense and what that could be, but I still think he'll be utilized as the main rusher and getting the touches. So we're picking him that high. I'm hoping he'll pay out.
I like it. Pick 32. I'm gonna take pick 33. I'm sorry, pick 33. Now we're at. I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm really starting to buy into what Jahmyr Gibbs is selling here. I think that the upside of his ability in the receiving game early on without Jameson Williams is going to be really huge for this offense here. And he's just a playmaking guy that they took him in early round 1. I mean, they're going to use this guy to his full ability. So I'll pick him at pick 33.
Give me that man beast DK Metcalf for the 34th pick.
All right. I like it. And then we got 2 injured players at this point here. Just in terms of upside, I'm going to take Breece Hall here and his ability as a different position compared to what Joe Burrow can give us with other quarterbacks later on in the draft. I think just Breece Hall has that opportunity to really stand out if he can stay healthy and hope for the best that Dalvin Cook doesn't sign there.
Okay, lock me on to Burrow.
Joe Burrow. All right, last pick of round 3. All right. So let's go to round 4 here. Round 4 has got some interesting candidates here. Obviously, we have Justin Herbert, Justin Fields in round 4. We have TJ Hawkinson as a tight end in round 4. Running backs are Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, and Miles Sanders. And then, of course, I wrote running backs twice here because I forgot to change it. Wide receivers of Deebo Samuels, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, and Keenan Allen. So where do we dislike players in this round here? Outside of the quarterbacks, obviously.
The whole the quarterbacks aren't that bad. I hate this whole round, to be honest. The first one I hate, T.J. Hawkins. I just don't think like if you miss out on Kelsey and Andrews, I don't know if he's really worth the 43rd pick in the draft. Where you could get not that bad or not that much worse options than like say like Darren Waller or a Kittle around later or something or 2 rounds later. So I'm not that big of a fan of Hawkinson.
All right. I don't hate it. I don't like Kenneth Walker at the 37th pick, even though it says 36. It's 37th. I don't like him that early still. With him not playing all preseason basically, and Zach Charbonnet actually looked pretty good in their first preseason game. I don't like him that early in round 4. Dameon Pierce, you already know my hate for Dameon Pierce. I'm not a big fan. Give me Devin Singletary later on. Deebo Samuels, again, he's okay. He's in the middle of round 4 still. I don't know what his upside is if he doesn't see the rushing floor. And Calvin Ridley is someone that I like. I get the upside of his game there, but he hasn't played in over a year. Take him in round 4. In round 4, I still want to get somebody that I believe will be an elite option for me than go with somebody who has concerns for me. So, yeah. Is there players you want to see jump up on this list here, Jibs? Or is there players you move up?
If it has to be on this list, it'll be Justin Fields.
All right.
Positional players, though, I would say Aaron Jones. Like I know, like he's pretty much sharing with AJ Dillon, and he pretty much gives you like medium, like low end RB2 numbers to a degree on some weeks. But the guy's getting catches. I know like Dillon pretty much gets more rush attempts sometimes than him, but like I just like how they're going to utilize him. They're not going to let Jordan Love just run loose. They're going to have a concentrated game with the running backs and obviously the receivers that they have there as well. So I think they'll still be utilizing the passing game.
Okay. I mean, I like Amari Cooper. If he moves up to early round 4, I still love it. I think he's still the elite option for this Cleveland Browns offense there. I do really like his ability. I think he was going to eventually work well with Deshaun Watson. Miles Sanders at the last round of round 4. Like I wouldn't mind him moving up in the middle. I mean, I think he has the workload in this offense here. I don't really think Chuba Hubbard or anyone else is really going to steal much work from him. He's going to have most of this work to himself. So I do like that a lot. To see him move up a few spots in round 4. Again, you're right, Jibs. I really don't care for round 4 that much, but yeah. So, all right, let's get over to our mock draft of this round here. I'll go first again since you went first the first 2 rounds. I'll go first here. I'm probably going to just take Joe Mixon at the pick 37. I just feel like he's got this backfield to himself. I'm not too concerned about him overall. So,
okay, I'll follow that up with Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, pick 38. All right. Pick 39. I'm probably going to take Justin Herbert. Honestly, if I'm looking for a quarterback in round 4, I like Justin Herbert. If there are really no other quarterbacks off the board, all going off the board at this point, I like Justin Herbert if that's the case in round 4. I think he's in for a big season on this Kellen Moore offense.
Okay, I'll follow it up with your boy Amari Cooper. Still
Amari
Cooper. The offense, Browns passing attack, show some upside.
I like it. All right. I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson. I know you're not as high on him in this round, but I still think he's an elite option that I think we'll see second in the team on targets for actually early on in the season here. And again, another player that I think can be a positional advantage to some extent. I mean, not as the Travis Kelce type, but to some extent with his ability on the field here. So I'll pick him at pick 41.
Okay, with the 42nd pick, I'm going to take Justin Fields.
Justin Fields?
Yeah, like fantasy managers are opting to draft quarterbacks earlier than they haven't ever have, and he has the tools to be a great runner. We just some of the display of the passing and what he can do. So maybe this is his year to break out fully.
Right. I like it. Pick 43. I am 43. Oh, Miles Sanders. I don't think I said Miles Sanders. So pick 43. I'm just going to take Miles Sanders. Obviously, I said I wanted to move him up in terms of where he's going at ADP right now. I still think he's going to have a workhorse world season for him. So,
okay. I don't mind taking Debo mid round 4. I know like his upside's kind of capped with everyone on the offense, but he does have the tendency to have explosive weeks for you. So he can win you a week more than he can lose you a week. I'm gonna go with Debo Samuel. I think he has like some critics to prove this year.
okay. All right. So pick 45. I'm going to stick to ADP to go ADP with Keenan Allen. That's where he's going. I like him there. I think he's a safe option. I think he's safer than going with Ridley, Walker, or Pierce. Again, there's injury concerns, but I think overall, I think he gives you solid, consistent production overall.
All right, I'm gonna go with this guy till his freaking hamstring falls off his leg. Keenan Allen, one of Coach Gibbs' favorites.
Oh, that's who I went with. That's who I went.
Oh, you so you want?
Oh, damn. All right, well,
Give me the.
Keenan Allen, like, give me actually, did we say Kenneth Walker?
I didn't say Kenneth Walker.
Okay,
No.
you get Kenneth Walker.
Okay, then you're probably midway through round 4, almost round 5. Like, you still should be the lead dog there. Like, I know Coach Steve said some glowing things about Zach Charbonnet, but at this point, you got him.
Yeah. All right. And I'm going to stick to Calvin Ridley, even though I said I wouldn't want to take him in round 4, but I don't like Dameon Pierce that much more. So I will take the guy that should be the number 1 wide receiver for the Jags offense this year. It seems like that way at least. So I will take Calvin Ridley.
All right. And I guess that leaves me with Pierce.
Dameon Pierce, right? All right. That said it. Texans. They didn't look good. CJ Stroud did not look good in that first game, so hopefully he plays a little bit better moving forward. All right. And finally, round 5. We are there almost. This is the last round of the night, guys. These are helping you win your early rounds. We have round 5. We have Trevor Lawrence as the quarterbacks going in round 5. In terms of tight ends, we have George Kittle, Kyle Pitts in round 5. Running backs, we have J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, Alexander Madison, James Conner. For our wide receivers, not RBs again. DeAndre Hopkins, we have Terry McLaurin, TJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, and Drake London. Now, Jibs, there are people here in this round you do not like at their value.
I love all their values, but that has to be it. I'll definitely say for my 2 would be DeAndre Hopkins and Terry McLaurin. I'm just not that big of a fan of McLaurin. Like, everyone's just got their hots for John Dobbs this year, but he's still the veteran statesman on the offense. He is that guy. I don't know, like, where wide receiver number is. Wide receiver 20. All right. Well, D Hop, he's old. Run first offense, yada 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 yada. So those 2 would be my values to send back a little bit, though.
Yeah, I think those are pretty good ones to ask for right there. I mean, you could move George Kittle back. He is banged up currently right now. A few spots there. He's like almost like the first pick around 5. I wouldn't mind moving him back to the middle of the late. Hopkins, again, I've already told you guys how I felt about Hopkins. Not a major fan. I don't think the wide receiver 1 upside anymore in his game. So those 2 are pretty big ones for me. Again, J.K. Dobbins could fall down a little bit on this list. I'd be okay with that. So I don't hate that overall. But the rest of the guys aren't terrible in this round. So is there players you want to move up in this round a little bit?
For me, Cam Akers, I wouldn't mind. I think Madison's priced right. Connor, he's had a meteoric rise this offseason. Jerry Jeudy and Drake London. Both of those 2 for me.
All right. I like it. Yeah.
Ascending wide receivers. I think they're going to have breakout seasons.
All right. Yeah. If in James Conner, I'd like to move him up a little bit. It just seems like they can't find a backup for him to stay healthy for whatever. I mean, Marlon Mack out for the year.
That's the first along to those backups.
Yeah, Corey Clement is hurt too. Something I can't think of his name. It's the first name, but it's something Katarian Ingram. Keontae Ingram. Thank you. He was been banged up all this offseason so far. So James Conner could definitely move up. I think DJ Moore showed me enough in just one play that he's in for a big season, I think, this year, and I think he can move up to the early part of round 5, maybe even round 4 range. He might get there at some point. I think those guys could kind of move up overall. And again, Judy and London are good move ups as well. So, all right, so let's mock the round here. Jibs, I'll let you go back first since I had the last 2. Give us your first. You want me to go first?
Yep.
I'll go first. All right. Just give me DJ Moore at pick 49. I'm just going to take DJ Moore and get him out of the way with early. I like DJ Moore. I already said why, so.
I'm still going to go with my breakout running back, Cam Akers, with the
pick 50.
Pick 50.
Early.
That's not pretty early. I think, like, I was enthused about him when he was, like, I think his ADP was, like, 40-something. So, like, at 50, I signed me up.
True. I respect it. 51, I will go. I'm still going to go Terry McLaurin. I still think he has the ability to be the wide receiver 1 for this new look offense here. So he's still a good prime receiver that I think as long as he can stay healthy himself, you know, he's dealt with injuries over his career. He should be in for a big season this year. So pick 51 with Terry, Scary Terry.
Scary Terry. I'm going to go.
It's tough.
I'm gonna go George Kittle here. I know he's hurt right now, but like more often than not over this last 2 years, like he's either getting you like 9 points, 8 points in PPR leagues, or he's exploding with like 20+ point games, and those can win you a week, especially when you're not facing Travis Kelce, Andrews, or Coach Steve's Hawkinson. So on a great week. So I'm going to go with George Kittle right there.
Pick 52. All right. So pick 53, I will take James Conner. Like I said, I really am intrigued with James Conner as a workhorse back overall. I like his ability to be that guy for this bad Cardinals team. So.
Okay. With my pick, I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy. I'm pretty like enthused about this Broncos offense, Russell Wilson, the wide receivers, running back, everything about it. It's just like Sean Payton. So he has a long track record with us growing up, last like 10-15 years. So I'm gonna go with the proven offensive genius and the players that. Yeah.
All right, I like it. So I think at this point I'm gonna opt out and just take the quarterback here at pick 54. I think it's 54. Yeah, 50, 55, I think. Oh, 55. I'm 55 on the odd numbers. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence here. Again, he was QB1 last season here. He just picked up another weapon or two in this offense here. He should be in for a really solid season overall. So 56.
56. Drake London.
Running backs, Drake London. All right.
Take Drake London. It's just something about like the Falcons offense. Like they have the pieces there. They have an established running game. Like they just need to get the signal caller right. And I'm not the biggest believer in Desmond Ridder, but I think he could get the offenses going. We did see it in the game and a half or two that he played at towards last year.
All right, I respect it. 57. I'm going to go with Alexander Madison here. Again, another guy who I think has tremendous upside if he gets that heavy workload in this offense here. And an offense that plans on scoring multiple points throughout the year. So, again, I like his ability. I'm really hoping he can take it and extend to that next level of his game overall. So,
all right. Well, I'll take the old man. Give me D-Hop.
D-Hop. All right. All right.
I don't think the Tennessee offense can. They can't put up some points. Like D-Hop's also a great red zone threat. So, like, I think he could be utilized those ways instead of being like the deep threat or the go-to. Hopefully he is, but like they still have young talent like Treylon Burks and Cheeky.
All right, I like it. All right, and then pick 59. I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins. He's back now. He's back. He's off the pump. He's coming back. I'm really hoping that he can rebound because he's a fantastic runner. It's just that he needs to be able to be on the field and. So I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins at pick 59.
Okay, to round us up, we're going to take Kyle Pitts. The good point, hey, this is pretty much the lowest draft price we're getting him at the last 3 years he's played. And But yeah, it's upside, more upside than half the guys there. So besides Travis Kelce, but
Of course.
if he gets off, like he should be good. It's just a touchdown. Can he score more than one touchdown?
I respect it. I respect it. All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our winning the early round, guys. Hopefully that helped you guys get a good overview. And again, if you want to see the visual, please go to our YouTube channel at The Fantasy Coaches. You can see which players are really going in those rounds there. It's a better view than me just saying every one single name real quickly. It gives you definitely a nice overall view. Hopefully, again, seeing some players, where they're going, where you could maybe take a step back with some players, where maybe you're okay to pump up some players up. So hopefully that you guys enjoyed that. Again, we're going to be doing this for the rounds 6 to 10 and 11 and 15 next Monday. So please tune in for that. Coach Gibbs, is there anything you want to say before we get going?
2 weeks to drafts, baby.
Yes, definitely. Loving that.
Like to leave me alone.
Yes. Yeah, so your drafts are coming up. Please hit us up, guys, whether you're chilling out on our YouTube channel here, or if you're going to just send us a DM on our Twitter page at Coaches Fantasy. Hit us up. We're definitely glad to help you guys out, make some draft picks if you need it, give you guys some advice overall. We're here to help you guys out, win some championships. Our door is always open. So we really do appreciate it. And again, we're just doing the one episode this week. I know we usually doing 2 a day, so we had some issues pop up here, and I felt like this episode was more important to get to because of how crazy ADP can be and how visual seeing a draft makes a lot of sense. So we thank you guys all for listening. Tune in until next time, guys, and have a good one.
Back to back is not far-fetched. We got a couple of flaws.